Welcome to the Saul's Newsstand News Rewind for August 28, 2020. President Trump accepts GOP nomination. Donald Trump formally accepted the Republican Party's nomination for re-election in front of the White House on Thursday night. This is the most important election in the history of our country, President Trump said after he profoundly accepted his party's nomination.
My fellow Americans, tonight with a heart full of gratitude and boundless optimism, I profoundly accept this nomination for President of the United States. This is the most important election in the history of our country. At the Democrat National Convention, Joe Biden and his party repeatedly assailed America as a land of racial, economic, and social injustice. So tonight I ask you a simple question. How can the Democrat Party ask to lead our country when it spends so much time tearing down our country? In recent months, our nation and the entire planet has been struck by a new and powerful, invisible enemy. Like those brave Americans before us, we are meeting this challenge. We are delivering life-saving therapies and will produce a vaccine before the end of the year, or maybe even sooner. Joe Biden's plan is not a solution to the virus, but rather it's a surrender to the virus. If we had listened to Joe, hundreds of thousands more Americans would have died. Instead of following the science, Joe Biden wants to inflict a painful shutdown on the entire country. His shutdown would inflict unthinkable and lasting harm on our nation's children, families, and citizens of all backgrounds. The cost of the Biden shutdown would be measured in increased drug overdoses, depression, alcohol addiction, suicides, heart attacks, economic devastation, job loss, and much more. We will make sure our companies and jobs stay in our country, as I've already been doing for quite some time, if you've noticed. Joe Biden's agenda is made in China. My agenda is made in the USA. And I have done more in 3 years for the black community than Joe Biden has done in 47 years. And when I'm reelected, the best is yet to come.
Trump went on to excoriate the Democratic Party and argue that the choice for voters is between a president who has a record of unmatched accomplishments and an opposition party and candidate eager to tear down the country. An article from Fox News states, Trump says he wants drug tests before debates with Biden. President Trump on Wednesday said he will request that both Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden and himself take drug tests before the first presidential debate in September, making the inflammatory claim that he believes Biden's improvement during the Democratic primary debates was the result of drugs. Trump offered no evidence to support his claim, nor did he say what drug he thought Biden was taking, but he argued that Biden showed a marked improvement during the March 15th debate between himself and Senator Bernie Sanders compared to previous ones. When pressed for any evidence to support his claim that Biden had taken a drug to improve his debate performance, Trump said he had none and that his theory was based purely on his own observations. And finally, townhall.com reports, here's how the DOJ intends to get answers about COVID-19 nursing home deaths. For months, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo and his administration have refused to accept responsibility for the thousands of nursing home deaths that have occurred in the state during the Wuhan coronavirus outbreak. Now, the Department of Justice announced on Wednesday that they intend to do a fact check. The agency has requested data from 4 specific governors in the states of New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Michigan to determine for themselves just how deadly their controversial nursing home policies actually were. The announcement reads, today, the Justice Department requested COVID-19 data from the governors of states that issued orders which may have resulted in the deaths of thousands of elderly nursing home residents. New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Michigan required nursing homes to admit COVID-19 patients to their vulnerable populations, often without adequate testing. If they find evidence to suggest there was indeed a connection between the governor's mandates and the striking number of fatalities, the Department of Justice's Civil Rights Division will launch investigations under the Federal Civil Rights and Institutionalized Persons Act, which protects the civil rights of persons in state-run nursing homes. And that concludes your Saul's Newsstand News Rewind for August 28, 2020. For more political news faster, visit saulsnews.com.